Welcome, my name is Debbie and this is Pouring My Art Out for the Lord, and I have a new piece of ephemera to show you today. And I got this idea from Craft Baked Studio, it's called, and the project is Window Ledger Pockets. And she had some old ledger paper that she used to make these. I didn't have that old ledger paper, so I used coffee dyed paper for mine. I'll show you that in a minute. And I used all of my Faith Basics kits to decorate these. So I haven't showed you these for a little while, but I have all of these Faith Basics kits in my shop. I have bundles that you can purchase, several at once. They're inexpensive to begin with. They're even less expensive if you buy them in a bundle. And if you buy a bundle or two before the end of September 2023, then, which is only a couple of days now, I have some bonus pages for you. So I'm going to show you what these look like. So they're a little pocket. There's a tuck here, so you have a couple elements in there. And then here you have kind of a specimen window sort of thing. I have a little piece of acetate there, and I have a couple of eyelets. I have a little piece of twine there. I made a little collage with some of the Faith Basics elements. This piece of acetate is just kind of loose in there, so I kind of like how that just sort of floats. It's attached with this. And then a little collage with this is some butterflies. They're not in my Faith Basics, but they're in another kit in my shop. And then on the back we have this little sleeve, I guess, that wraps to the front and to the back, to the top and the bottom from the back. And I just put one of my cards there and a couple little postcards from my Faith Basics kits. And then this is loose in here. And in here I have a little file folder and one of my ID cards and a hang tag card and all kinds of little items from my Faith Basics line. So that just tucks in there. So it's a really neat little piece of ephemera, and then you can tuck this into a pocket in your journal. And the other one is very similar. I have a tuck at the front and one of my ID cards. I have a little envelope that I made with a little hang tag in there. And this is another sepia portraits kit, and one of these. I have tickets in my Faith Basics kits. And then this is a collage, and again I have my acetate here, and then I put a little collage here. And then at the back we have our tuck again, so I have another little file folder there. And then I have a postcard on top of the belly band to make another little tuck. So got a little tag there and a little booklet that I made. So if you're interested in seeing how I make these, stick around and I will show you. Okay, so we take a piece of, I'm using a piece of coffee dyed paper, and I cut it in half. So it is 5.5 by 8.5 basically now. You could use any size, but you'd have to, adjust the measurements accordingly. And then what I'm going to do is put it so that the 5.5-inch side is against the top of my scoring board, and I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 5 inches. So basically a 1/2 inch from either side. Rotate it a 1/4 turn and score it at 2 inches. And rotate it 180 degrees, so on the opposite side, and do 1 inch. I just kind of came up with these measurements. You can play with them to see what you like. And the side that you like the best, this one, I just did some background stamping with my script stamp just for a little bit of additional interest. But pick the side that you want most of it showing and put that towards you. And then you want to just fold in these where you scored. So you got your 2 1/2-inch scores there. There and there. And then we want to fold up on this 1-inch line and up on the 2-inch line. So we should have something like this. So we folded in all of our edges. And then I like to take time right now just to do a little bit of inking on this edge, kind of the inside edges. So that edge, this edge, I'm just going to round the corners in a minute, so I'll do that before I ink everything. And then some of that's not going to show, but just basically this middle section here on those little edges. I've also made these with, you can use some pattern paper. I used some of my distress papers. This is kind of a sample of all of the colors in one of the kits, and that turned out really good too. So I fold in those edges, and then I will just round with the edges folded, the sides folded in. I just round all 4 corners like that. And then now that they're rounded, I want to maybe just touch up my inking here. All the outer edges we can ink afterwards, but these other edges we can't. So I just like to have those inner ones done. Just like that. And then I think I have a little piece of acetate. Of course, that's hard to see, isn't it? And that will just go into the, it'll snug up to the top and just go down 3/4 of the way. So I think this was 4 1/4, I think, no, 4 1/2 after I have it folded. So I cut the piece of acetate about 4 1/4 inches wide, and like I said, about 3/4 of the way down, because this is going to flip up. So I have that on there. I'm just going to, you want to have that underneath this lip because we're going to attach it with the eyelets. So I'll just put a little clip there just to hold that for now. And then we need to make our belly band. And I'm just going to use this for my belly band this time. I did use it on a couple of the other ones, but I had a wider piece, but I thought this might work just as well. So I'm just going to tear the one edge here. The other ones I tore all along here. This one I'm going to leave straight. See how I like that. It's always nice to kind of just try different things and see which variation that you like the most. So then I'm just going to put that up here, maybe because it's a little bit narrower, I might put it up farther. And then I'm just going to glue just this part that is on here. So just from here to here, basically. You don't need too much glue on there. And then I would fold this up, and then it goes along the back here. And then I'm just going to take my paper clip off, or my bulldog clip off for a minute. Or not bulldog clip, I'll call it a clip. And then you fold it over the edge here. And then I'm just gonna, I don't want to lose my acetate there. And then I'm just going to tear that edge as well, like that. And then I do want to ink that. Edge, like that. And that's what we have so far. So there's the back. And then I want to put a couple of eyelets here. And this one, because it's narrower, the eyelets are not going to be in this paper in the center. See how the eyelets went into the paper here? But this one, because it's narrower, I could make the eyelets narrower, but I think I will let me see, grab a pencil here. And let's see if I do it. Maybe I'll do it about 1.25 inches. The other ones I think I did 1 inch. If I do 1.25 inches, it'll just catch that paper as well. But you can also put a little bit of glue here and glue that on. And there we go. So put this back on. Okay, so make sure your acetate is lined up and tucked up in here. And mine is good. And I'm just going to take my crocodile and punch 2 holes where I marked them. And I've got a couple of eyelets here. And these are the eyelets that have the 2 sides on them. I used to be kind of leery about these ones because I didn't really understand how they worked, but I really like them now because they finish the project on both sides basically, which is nice for something like this. See how this side looks nice as well as the front. And then let's make my hole a little bit bigger there. Let's stick that one in. Here's the back ring for that one. And give that one a squeeze. There. Now we're done with this clip and we're attached there. So then most of it is just decorating after that point, and you can do all kinds of different things that you want. Off camera, I just made a little cluster with a couple of my faith elements so that I wouldn't take up so much time during the video. So you can just stick that in there, and if you think that you want a little bit more, you can add another element. You can add a little bit of stamping in the background. I think actually I like that just as is. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on that. Now you can kind of just get in there with your glue. Just move the acetate over, and I mean, this is not going to go anywhere. You don't really need that much glue, but okay. There you go. And then I like to glue these 2 sides up. The first ones I used just a paper clip to hold this up, but I ended up liking it better when it was glued on, so I changed how I was doing it there. Why is this not gluing? There we go. And then I'm just going to ink around all of my edges now. I'm just using tea dye ink right now. I usually use Vintage Photo Distress ink, but my Vintage Photo is not playing well the last little while. I keep re-inking it and it still is not working well, so I guess I'm going to have to go and get a new pad. So my other one is pretty old, so it's probably time. And I'll ink the back. These have a really nice feel, and you know, the crinkle factor because of I'm using a really thin acetate. Actually, I'm not even really sure it's called acetate, but a thin piece of plastic. So I have a little more crinkle there, and you can just do a little more there as you want. And then on my other ones, I did a little bit of a pocket on here. So maybe I'll use one of my, see if I have a postcard handy that these are going to be too big. I'll use one of my smaller ones here. You could use a little postcard, you could use a little ticket, you could use all kinds of things. Let me see if I have a circle in here. A circle might be kind of nice. Sewing machine. What do I have here? Here's a dragonfly, a sailboat, flowers. I think I might put the sailboat just because I have a gentleman on the other side. And he's not a flowery guy. Some men are flowery guys, but he's not. But he does like his boats. I like to make up stories about my my people that I put on my projects. So I'm just going to glue just the bottom little bit of that circle. And then I can use that for a little bit of a tuck at the back. And then I can put something in the back here. I just took this from one of the other ones. It's a little envelope that I made. So you can tuck that into the back there. You might want to just bring up those sides a little bit more. And then you can stick a tag. This one might be too big. Something like this in there will work well, or this, no, this is probably going to be too big, yeah. I'll just stick that in there. So then our back is full, and then we still have the pocket in the front. So we can stick something. Well, before we do that, let's decorate down here. So just have a ticket here from the kit. Jesus lives, it says. I have a couple of different butterflies. I have just a neutral one, and then I have a bright one. Which one do you think? This one doesn't really go with the blue very much, does it? Let me see what else I have. I have lots of butterflies here to choose from. That one might look better. How about this one? Yeah, I like that one. I like that one the best. Some of these are butterflies. I have a few butterflies in my shop, but a lot of the butterflies are just from various places. You probably have collected butterflies from different shops and things over the years as well. Unless you're just starting, in which case you probably don't have much butterflies. Okay, so I'm just going to have a ticket, a butterfly, and I have a sentiment here. And this one says, "The Lord bless you and keep you." So I'm just going to see how that will all fit on here. Something like that. I think that would work. This needs to maybe almost be like that. I think I'm going to poke it up a little bit. I don't want to glue on here because that's going to be a pocket, but you can glue on the edges here. And my butterfly. Like that. And the sentiments. And these are all from the Faith Basics kits. I have a playlist called Faith Basics on my channel, and this video will be heading there as well. So if you are interested in the Faith Basics, you can take a look at that playlist. And I have flip-throughs of the kits and what have you there, so you can take a look and check that out if you're interested. And then one of the last things, I think maybe the last thing, I'm just going to add my piece of twine. You can tie it in a knot, you can tie it in a bow. Just going to tie this one in a bow. A little bit shorter. Give that a good tug so it doesn't come loose. Trim off my edges. There we have it. And then we can tuck some things also in here. So you have, it looks like a pocket like this, and then when you take this out, you have your hidden collage underneath the acetate there. And then on the back, you have a tuck with your ticket that, or your tag that you almost glued in. And then a belly band. And the belly band in this case has an envelope with a hang tag on there, in there, and another little tuck and another card and one of my tickets there. So lots of interest on this project. You could also do a little bit more stamping. There's not a whole lot of room for stamping, more stamping on here, but like this one I did a round stamp there. This one I did a little bit more stamping inside and stuff. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that, and go and make some. They're really fun. And if you're interested, take a look at my Faith Basics kits. I'll link all of that below. And blessings.